Hello and welcome to our talk today. My name's Evan Ortlieb. We're going to be looking at the different drivers for implementing an integrated way to think about multi-tiered systems of support. So let's go ahead and get started. The first are around the competency drivers. And we're really first thinking about performance assessment from a formal evaluation standpoint. Sometimes you want to think about having an external auditor or evaluator come in to see and to sort of provide some validity to what you're doing, to look at the fidelity of the implementation, but also thinking about what tool are you going to use to determine whether or not the overall program has been successful in ushering people's academic and affective success or lack thereof. The second tenet around competency drivers is around selection and selection of the team that you're putting together, right? What is that overall composite? Are you going to include school counselors? Are you going to include, for instance, a speech language pathologist, right? Not just the curriculum coach or an assistant principal or a teacher or an interventionist for that matter. Third, around training. We want people to be able to have constant growth, and part of that has to do with continuing to go to professional development, master's degrees, or other sort of opportunities to continue to learn around student needs in this day and age. With that, we also think about building and maintaining internal expertise or assuring that we don't run into problems around fail-safe redundancies. So these fail-safe redundancies mean that if I learn something and somebody else knows something and somebody else knows that same thing, that even if I were to leave the school or something happened to me or I get COVID or sick or what have you, that things will be able to still maintain and operate moving forward to that degree. Finally, within the competency drivers, we have to think about coaching, right? So oftentimes we bring in external folks or outsiders to be able to participate and lead us in some of those coaching exercises. Other times we can empower our own teams to be able to do the same thing. So those are the competency drivers. The second category is around organizational drivers, and the first of these have to do with system interventions, right? So for instance, if we're trying to align what we are doing to make sure that they are up to date with recent legislation or up to date with specific student needs that they might have at that particular time. Those are our considerations. The second are around facilitative, administration. So administration obviously has the money. Obviously they have the master schedule that they put together, but does that schedule permit, or do they have AP classes that conflict? Or from an access standpoint, do we have equitable opportunities for every student to thrive and take AP classes or to take different things or to be able to go to those college tours and what have you, right? Is the master schedule in place to be able to support all students and their diverse needs? And then the next category is around decisions that have to be made based upon data, right? Data is king, and in many ways it should be. And one of these is around the self-assessment strategies. And the more and more that we're able to be introspective and not just take cursory accounts, but actually do deep dives into what we are doing, it allows more voice and more voices to be heard in order to be able to address these ongoing challenges within our MTSS implementation and overall design. The final category of drivers are leadership drivers. We know that some administrators are more managerial in their leadership style, and others think more about accountability and data-based decisions. No matter what it might be, we have to think about how to be able to integrate both the academics with the affective domain, where we know that the interest and the attitudes and the motivation and self-efficacy of learners matters so much, especially today, getting back on track from the COVID challenges and what have you. So those are certainly considerations within MTSS, not always within RTI, which is just a portion of that, but the MTSS that looks at both the academic and the affective domains alike. Finally, we have the adaptive leadership driver. And this is really where, as a leader, you want to think about the development of consensus building. You don't just want to be one person making all the decisions. And technically in any team or in education alike, but also in sports or anything else, one person can't do the job, right? One person can't solve all these challenges by his or herself. And so it really takes an ongoing commitment from a diverse team of educational professionals to be able to implement MTSS to the degree that it can actually work effectively in your school and throughout your district. So I encourage you to think about these different drivers for integrating MTSS in your own educational context. With that said, please like this video if you found it informative, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to the next session for Education for Today. Take care.